It is 1933. The Nazi Party just won an election in the Weimar Republic, and Hitler's in charge. First thing Hitler absolutely hated, the Treaty of Versailles. After Germany's defeat in World War I, there was a treaty, and the Germans need to pay a lot, need to downsize the army, and needed to lose territory. Hitler hated this. He wanted to undo it. So first step is to size up his army. So he did quite well. Got some new tanks, an air force called the Luftwaffe, and get way more troops. Now, Hitler also wanted territory. He hated Jews, and he wanted to kill all Jews in the world. He needed a living space. That means he needed to take over the world. But for now, he just wanted to attack Europe. So, he first, after World War I, the Treaty of Versailles, in a place called Rhineland, they needed to demilitarize. Around here, his troops marched in there. Next, he annexed Austria and a part of Czechoslovakia. Now, the Prime Minister of the UK and France held a meeting with Hitler and Mussolini, which was the dictator of Italy, which is a lot like Hitler, and took Albania. Now Hitler signed a waiver promising he won't invade the rest of Czechoslovakia. But then he invaded the rest of Czechoslovakia with the help of Hungary. Next, he hated the Polish corridor, splitting Germany into two. There, you can see it, right? So, on September 1st, he invaded Poland, and 2 days later, France and Germany declared war on Germany. France and Britain declared war on Germany. While that was happening, the Soviet Socialist Republic also declared war on Poland, or the Soviet Union declared war on Poland. And the Polish fought hard, but they were no match, which resulted in 6.5 million Polish deaths. Now, it wasn't just Germany and Italy who had an alliance. Meanwhile, in the Far East, the Republic of China, which was now smaller, this is a little inaccurate. This part wasn't part of the Republic of China, and also this part wasn't part of the Republic of China either. So, Japan had an empire, wanted an empire, so it annexed Chinese Korea. And now a bomb blew up a Japanese train, giving them an excuse to take over Manchuria, which we did quite well. Back in the West, the British government and the French government wanted to avoid a repeat of the First World War. So we wanted the war to have an effect in the north, or Norway and Sweden. Norway and Sweden were trading with Germany, and they won. And the British government asked them to stop trading, but they refused. So the British started a blockade preventing any iron from reaching Germany. They also attacked a German warship. Now Hitler knew the British plan, so he invaded Denmark, then Norway, but France and Britain rushed to land troops. You think that was effective? No, because the German Luftwaffe, or German Air Force, attacked the Allied forces in Norway, forcing them to retreat. after this failure, Chamberlain resigned, or the Prime Minister of the British resigned, and was replaced by Winston Churchill. Now about here, Germany wanted to invade France, but France had a huge load of defenses, I said in the last video. So they tried to go around it, through the Netherlands, Belgium, and Luxembourg, which didn't surprise anyone. And the Allies charged towards Belgium. Just one problem. The French have left an area around here. Super small area around there. Because they thought it was naturally impenetrable. Okay, I'm going to explain that later. Meanwhile, in Belgium and Netherlands, the millions of French troops charged towards Belgium, and the British 250,000 troops also charged towards Belgium. Now, only the minority of Hitler's army were marching toward there, while the majority of his army was around here, trying to penetrate them. An army punched through the area, encircling the Allied forces. The Germans closed in, knocking out thousands of Allied troops and nearly knocking out the British. But they made a desperate last-minute mistake called Operation Dynamo. The British sent every ship they could, even small fishing ships, passenger ships, every ship. When I mean every ship, I mean every ship. It rescued 350,000 troops. With most of the French forces depleted, the German army marched through France, and in June 22, 1940, the French surrendered. Hitler hoped with the fall of France, Winston Churchill would also surrender, but that didn't work. So he needed to secure the Western Front and try to force them into surrendering. Instead of occupying all of France, he only occupied the coastal parts, while a part of France was here. Now, second, Italy has just declared war on Great Britain and France because just before France surrendered, and Hitler needed to invade the British. So he ordered the Luftwaffe to attack port cities. Then he attacked RAF bases, and it looked like Hitler's invasion of Great Britain was coming. But an important bombing raid of Berlin made Hitler change his mind and made bombing raids, and he immediately ordered his army to attack London. Now, in order for Hitler to invade Britain, he needed air superiority over the English Channel. But he changed his mind, instead of attacking RAF bases or the Royal Air Force bases, he changed his mind to attacking London. And then he attacked London. With the RAF back in the air, the RAF flew to London and shot down many of the Luftwaffe bombers. And Hitler's plan to invade Britain had to be postponed, but the bombing of British cities continued for some time. Meanwhile, facts down here. The French colonies around here, French Equatorial Africa, they did not want to join the Germans. So they made their own country called the Free French Forces. Now, it wasn't really a country, but it was more of a protest or an uprising or an unrecognized nation. And the flag sort of looked like this. Like that. Now, the Free French Forces also wanted to take the French naval base here, which they did not. Which, if they knew if they capture it, then they can liberate northern France, which they failed. And the Pen wanted to make a plan to do something, and they were still planning.